use this for crime scene photography. We use it for search and rescue with the thermal imaging. If somebody goes missing at night, we can go up and put the thermal up and be able to see, heat signatures.
Really, the drones just give you the flexibility to get to places that otherwise you couldn't get to.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. And we do it safer and more efficiently than a helicopter.
Can you see a situation where you would need to have a drone that was weaponized?
Just in my career, I can think of situations where something like that would have been of use. Yeah, absolutely.
My concern for the use of weaponized drones is growing more and more every week. I hope that you have heard and you have read about the use of weaponized drones in the Western world, and most especially in the USA. Weaponized drones are in the headlines. The state of Connecticut had a debate over a bill that would allow cops to put deadly weapons on drones as of April 2017. You see, Connecticut lawmakers are considering whether the state should become the first in the country to allow police to use drones outfitted with deadly weapons. A proposal immediately met with concern, of course, and thankfully, by civil rights and liberties advocates. The bill in Connecticut would ban the use of weaponized drones, but exempt police. Details on how law enforcement could use drones with weapons would be spelled out in the new rules to be developed by the State Police Officer Standards and Training Council. Officers also would have to receive training before being allowed to use drones with weapons. Currently, North Dakota is the only state that allows police to use weaponized drones, but limits the use to quote-unquote less lethal weapons, including stun guns, rubber bullets, and tear gas. Currently in the United States, 5 states, Nevada, North Carolina, Oregon, Vermont, and Wisconsin, prohibit anyone from using a weaponized drone, while Maine and Virginia ban police from using armed drones. According to the National Conference of State Legislatures, several other states have restricted drone use in general, at least for now, but who knows what the future will hold. President of state chapter of the NAACP says, "We have huge concerns that they would use this new technology to abuse our communities in the United States." Esdell said he has received calls from around the country for NAACP officials and others concerned about the Connecticut legislation. 3 police departments in the state, Hartford, Plainfield, and Woodbury, began using drones within the past year. Since 2016, according to the American Civil Liberties Union of Connecticut. The bill also includes restrictions on drone use and reporting requirements that are supported by the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, which is headquartered in New York City. They also said that they had many concerns about the police using deadly force with drones. Senator Edwin Gomes, last name spelled Gomes, he said, "I think that police are taught one thing. You put a weapon in their hand, they shoot center mass. They shoot to kill. If it's going to be used, you're going to use it to kill somebody." The drone bill in Connecticut is known as HB 7260. Civil liberties groups are urging caution on the measure, citing concerns over privacy and when force would be used. Regardless, the growing prominence of drone technology means ground rules need to be in place sooner rather than later for whether they can be weaponized and to what extent. That was said by Senator John Kissel. "We have to be able to fight fire with fire," Kissel said. The use of weaponized drones isn't going to go away because we don't like it. So we have to do something now. Any law would be extremely narrowly tailored, Kissel said. And we want there to be really rigorous training because of the potential for lethal force under certain circumstances. In the United States, at least 347 police and fire departments in 43 states are now using drones, including for search and rescue operations, crime scene photography, and for surveillance, according to a study by Bard College's Center for the Study of the Drone. That's Bard, spelled B-A-R-D, College's Center for the Study of the Drone. Departments in Los Angeles, Miami Beach, Orange County, Florida, and San Diego County have at least one drone. But researchers say no department currently utilizes weaponized drones, including in Connecticut, where about 3 police forces have drone technology. Only one state in the country, North Dakota, bans the specific use of lethal weapons on drones, but created a loophole that allows for police departments to employ non-lethal weapons such as tasers, tear gas, or rubber bullets on the drone devices. No departments in the state are known to be using them, said Republican Rick Becker. He was the politician who first introduced legislation to ban all weapons on drones. That is Republican Rick Becker. Moreover, the legislation was amended in 2015 to only prohibit the quote-unquote lethal options. Mr. Becker continues to argue that drones, also known as unmanned aerial vehicles, should be devoid of any munitions. Mr. Becker said, there's a disconnect with a person sitting in a trailer commanding a drone that can hurt or kill someone. That's the dangerous, creepy thing about it. Just 5 states ban the use of weaponized drones: Nevada, North Carolina, Oregon, Vermont, and Wisconsin, while 2 others, Maine and Virginia, ban law enforcement from using them altogether, according to the National Conference of State Legislators. In my opinion, I am very, very reserved and very conservative in my view on the use of drones by police officers because of all of the many circumstances and tragic occurrences that I can point to that have not even involved drones, that have involved police officers on the street. So by just taking that into consideration, as well as the long history of how new technology has been introduced under how it's supposed to be so helpful for the public and so convenient for the public and all of this type of stuff. But after some time passes, we find that the reason that supposedly the technology was created for, and in order for it to pass through the proper houses and the proper governmental processes for legalization, we find that that's often not the case. And we find that more often than not, that exact technology is now being used against us. Let's say 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. I don't know if the things that they are touting in order to have these drones accepted by the public, as well as to get them through the legislative process, I don't know if that's exactly what's going to be remembered 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. But I do know one thing. I certainly don't want to wake up one morning and find a drone outside of my window like people have reported. I don't want to be subject to illegal surveillance, unauthorized surveillance of me, because I'm a person who very much respects other people's privacy, and therefore I do demand that my privacy is also respected. On top of that, with remembering that the United States has more people in prison than any other part of the world, I would say that the drones are not needed to surveil the public.
Welcome to Fortune Tech Debate, where we debate the issues of the day in 2 minutes. Today we're talking about weaponized police drones. All right, let's put 2 minutes on the clock. Take it away, Jeff.
Andrew, pretty crazy. The state of Connecticut has a bill that's going to allow not just weapons, but deadly weapons on police drones.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, how can I possibly sleep at night knowing that there can be a drone with a gun or I don't know, tear gas, something.
Missiles.
Flying around the suburbs of Connecticut.
Yeah, it sounds terrible, great headlines, but let's take a breath. Think, when are they going to use this in theory? So we're talking edge cases. We're talking about a sniper in a bell tower. You got a hostage situation. You can send an officer up there to confront him, or you can put a drone with a weapon on it.
And I totally love that idea, right? I've got many members of my family are in law enforcement. The idea of removing them out of the way of harm is brilliant. I love that. But on the other hand, you say extraordinary circumstances, but that's not in the proposed language of the law, the bill, excuse me. This is defined by police departments, and that's what worries me. Extraordinary can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, and we're talking about drones with guns on them.
Right, but I think these things scare people a lot. The police departments are only going to use them when necessary. We're not going to see like OJ rushing down a California freeway with a drone with a missile blowing him up.
But maybe we could see a squadron of drones rushing after OJ to kind of disable his car. Is that cool? I don't know. If I'm driving around LA, that makes me uncomfortable.
They've talked about that. They've talked about that shooting out a tire.
Organizations oppose this, right? The ACLU, NAACP, and it's not hard to see why. I mean, much of the problems with today's policing in terms of targeting certain demographics would only be exacerbated by this.
Hang on, these are edge cases. And also, let's keep in mind, the police have a lot of crazy weapons already. I don't think this is going to tip the scale one or the other.
Well, and I'll give you that, right? I mean, the fact that we've let the police departments use this kind of these weapons anyway, should give us pause. But
this is going to save lives. It's not a big deal.
But accelerating it, putting on drones, letting them fly over backyards, come on, man. I don't know. I feel like we need more support and detail in this law to make it worthwhile. But we're out of time. All right, come to fortune.com for more tech debate.
In the information description area will be links for you to investigate and to scrutinize. My name is Cue Pate. Thank you for stopping by.